Why hello you amazing beautiful people, and welcome back to another Tuesday. I have to give you a little bit of a heads up. I'm not very well. My nose is really bad, my throat's really sore. I'm not well. I don't even know what it is, but I've got whatever it is, I have it. I've actually been recommended a bunch of, like, I think my comment section is just filled up with recommendations these days. A lot of people want me to check out Taylor's, like, AMA performance that she did. It's on her channel. It's like 11 minutes long. A bunch of other stuff. A bunch of people want to check out the Grammy Museum, but it's huge. It's such a giant video. And then I've been telling, like, there's all these different moments and behind the scenes and more songs and, like, all these sort of things. So it's kind of hard to know what you all want me to react to next. So a couple of things that have been recommended are some more Taylor, like, funny and cute moments or things like that. So if you have any recommendations for, like, your favorite compilations, put them down below. But then there was this one, and this is one of the most viewed compilation videos of Taylor, one of her most viewed interview compilations, and it is Taylor Swift's Saddest interview moments. Now, I'm a pretty emotional person, so I have a funny feeling this is going to be an emotional reaction, but it has been recommended, and this channel is controlled by all of you, so I guess is going to be an interesting one. We'll see how we get on, especially because I'm ill. So let's do it. Anyway, if you like these reactions, please consider supporting the channel by liking the video, by subscribing to the channel, by pressing that subscribe button. You can find links to everything I ever react to in the descriptions. And yeah, let's jump into my first time ever reaction to the one and only amazing Taylor Swift's most sad interview moments.
You know, it's interesting that in your songs, you're still the outsider. With all the success.
Yeah, my mom talks to me a lot about that, because I think you kind of get set in how you feel when you're in school. Like, I could be sitting in the front row at an award show and I still don't feel like a cool kid. Like,
to this day. And
like
you are
ever.
the cool kid now.
And what went through your mind when he came up and then they cut off the...
Well, I was standing on stage and I was really excited because I had just won the award, and then I was really excited because Kanye West was on the stage, and then I wasn't so excited anymore after that.
And Taylor, are there any hard feelings towards him?
I don't know him, and I've never met him, so...
So were you a fan before?
Yeah. It's Kanye West.
Are you still a fan? I take it now?
You know, I don't know him, and I don't want to start anything, because I had a great night tonight.
Okay.
Did anyone give you support backstage?
Yeah, I've been getting so many text messages, it's like... And everybody's been really nice, so I've had a really, really fun night. It's been interesting, definitely. It's definitely been an interesting night.
How hard was it to coordinate the performance?
I hate this so much, you know. It's one of those things that will just forever just be really rage-inducing, which is like Taylor just had this fantastic achievement, you know, and it should be celebrated. One of the worst things is when you're happy and someone just takes that away, you know? Like a whole evening of, like, happiness just taken away. Not just that, like, weeks, months. Taylor, like, did something amazing. She won. And it was just taken away. All that happiness, like, that she should be feeling. She won this award. How amazing. I've got it. Look, it's in my hands. And all of that, like, happiness around this, like, amazing achievement sucked away by a fucking selfish, attention-seeking douchebag. Just someone who wants everyone to look at them. Can't handle it when someone's looking at someone else. It's so upsetting. And even now, poor Taylor, you know, having to handle all this, like, press. And just, like, all these cameras and freaking microphones just shoved in her face. And all of them are asking questions about the incident. And not the winning of the award.
With the subway and all of the
performance
dances.
was one of my favorite parts of the night, and especially the fact that it was so...
Shout out whoever asked this question, by the way.
So fan-oriented, and the fact that the fans were everywhere. It was just wonderful, and I love New York, so I was so excited to be here.
Are you going to reach out to Kanye?
Huh?
Are you going to reach out to Kanye? Thank you guys so much.
Just going to try to have a good night. Thank you so much.
Supposed to ring, but I don't want to. I don't want to.
Okay, all right.
right, all right. This makes me feel so bad about myself. Every time I come up here, you put like a different dude up there on the screen. There's never been 2 guys on the screen 2 visits in a row. It's sad.
Is your life at all normal?
No,
No.
not at all.
What's the most abnormal?
The most abnormal thing about my life is having sort of crowds form everywhere you go. And just everywhere. So that starts happening, and then you have to take security everywhere you go. All of a sudden, you realize that you have not been alone, truly, for 5 years.
I try not to ever really say where I am the most because since all my addresses are on the internet, people tend to show up uninvited. Like, you know, dudes that think we have an imaginary marriage.
You mentioned that you keep wound dressing with you?
Yeah, I've had a lot of stalkers show up to the house armed. So we have to think that way.
Do you ever suffer from anxiety?
This might sound really weird, but you hear these stories all the time, and for some reason they hit differently when it comes to Taylor. And I don't know why, but my guess would be, and all I can think of is Taylor feels like us. You know, she really does just feel like us. She just feels normal. You know, she's like crazy rich, crazy wealthy, in crazy famous, but somehow has the personality of someone who doesn't have all those things. And even if the lifestyle is catered to that, the personality never feels like it is. You know? So I feel like when Taylor talks about things like that, like these stalkers and these incidents, it hits harder than when other celebrities talk about it, because other celebrities can feel very detached from us, like miles away. And we're just like, oh, man, that's like different, you know? But Taylor doesn't feel like that, you know? She feels close to us. So when she's saying it, it kind of feels like someone we know is saying it. It feels more terrifying. And I really hope that doesn't take anything away from when other celebrities tell these stories. And I really hope what I'm trying to say makes sense and it doesn't come across insensitive in any way. But that's just how I feel. And I do apologize if it has come across insensitive. But yeah, that's hopefully some people understand what I'm trying to say.
We have to think that way.
Do you ever suffer from anxiety dreams? Do you ever have those dreams before a big show where you're fighting clowns or you're wrestling with a lion?
Oh my God, yes,
or,
anxiety dreams. And also like my reality, even when I'm not dreaming, is like peppered with lots of anxiety. Just like ridiculous anxiety. I have a lot of issues with buildings like this because I always feel like someone has bugged the room and is either videoing me or recording me. No, I know, but like dressing rooms and stuff. So that's one of my paranoias. Anxiety dreams, I always have nightmares that I'm being framed for murder.
Do you?
Yes. And then I'm being framed so well that I can't remember if I did it or not in the dream.
Wow.
And so that really winds me up. And then I'm just like freaked out for the next couple of days. I mean, if you want to talk about all my like issues with anxiety, we could be here for days.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
That's okay, because
you asked the question.
Is free, and
you
I'm
didn't
not
ask a fun question.
Would you like to lay down on the couch and
you didn't
tell me
ask
all
my
about your
favorite
childhood?
kind of candy. You asked.
It's weird. In that moment, I feel like I would love to just talk to Taylor like a normal person. I don't think I would have the emotional stability to do that, but I would love to. Because I feel like these interviews, they never really do. And like Taylor seems like so genuine that she just will just start talking like a normal conversation with most interviewers. Even here, it kind of feels like that, you know? Like Taylor just starts talking about her anxiety so openly. And immediately the interviewer's like, no, we can move on, you know, because it's a topic that they don't think people are going to be interested in. But then Taylor says like, well, you asked the question. Kind of makes you feel like, even though it is coming across like a lighthearted way, and she's like making light of it, and they're doing like a good job of that, it kind of feels like she actually would like to talk about this, you know? And then it's like it's been dismissed a little bit. It's kind of sad.
Would you like to lay down on the couch?
You didn't ask my favorite kind of candy. You asked how many different kinds of anxiety dreams do I have.
But you do have them.
Yeah,
so
I have
you're
them.
in a dressing room. You're talking with a friend privately about the fact that you're not sure if you've murdered someone or not, and then you look up at the little fire alarm thing and you go, Could there be a camera
There's
in
a
there?
red light there, yeah. And there's also the dream that, like, anytime I'm paparazzi'd out, like, which is a lot, I have dreams that night that they're in my room taking pictures of me while I'm sleeping. So, like, I'll be like, I'll find myself smiling in my sleep, like, trying to, like, because I think there are people in my room taking pictures of me.
People go, are you okay?
Not smiling because I'm happy, smiling because, like, because I think people are taking pictures of me.
And does your boyfriend like the way it smells?
I don't have one. I keep telling you that. I don't have, like, even kind of a boyfriend.
Not even kind?
I don't have someone that I'm texting that's a guy that might some boyfriend. There's, like, nothing going on right now.
That's pathetic.
Yeah. Just, like...
You're busy.
Yeah, well,
You're
yeah,
very, very
of
busy.
course.
What is the craziest thing that a boy...
I don't know. Ellen is one of these people. I've never quite understood the humor. And I nothing against Ellen. I never try and speak badly about anybody. But I've never, like, understood the humor too much. I always feel like it's kind of mean. You know? Maybe I'm just too soft. But I always just feel like it's kind of mean.
has ever done to get your attention?
Nobody does anything crazy to get my attention. I don't know. As far as guys, they
don't work hard enough, do they?
Like,
really don't.
Watching all of this just makes you so happy that she's got Travis, you know? Like, it doesn't just make you so happy that she has found this big, freaking dorky, emotional football player who is so infatuated by her, just absolutely freaking loves her, and it makes you so happy.
I don't know. I can't remember, so I guess, you know, I guess there hasn't been anything.
Kind of made
Which
too
is
much.
good, so it's like easier. The bar's set really low for anyone who I date in the future to come in and be like a great guy. I'll be like, how, you exist? This is crazy.
I've been thinking about addiction, and I've been thinking about people who, if they're either suffering through mental illness or they're suffering through addiction, or they have an everyday struggle. No one pats them on the back every day, but every day they are actively fighting something. But there are so many days that nobody gives them credit for that.
Yeah.
And so how often must somebody who's in that sort of internal struggle must want to say to everyone in the room, you have no idea how close I am to going back to a dark place, or you have no idea.
You have no idea how hard it is to get to the point where you guys think is still shitty.
Yes, and then the second verse is about, you know, someone who felt like they had a lot of potential in their life. I think there are a lot of mechanisms for us in our school days, in high school or college, to excel and to be patted on the back for something. And then I think a lot of people get out of school, and there are less abilities for them to get gold stars.
Yeah.
And then you have to make all these decisions, and you have to pave your own way, and there's no set class course you can take, and and I think a lot of people feel really swept up in that. And so I was thinking about this person who is really lost in life and then starts drinking, and every second is trying not to.
Yeah.
One song on the album called Soon You'll Get Better that I can't even really hear, I can't even listen to.
She won't talk specifically about her inspiration, but it comes at a time when her mother, Andrea, who was battling cancer, suffered a relapse.
It's really interesting because I don't think I have written a song quite like that before, and it's just sort of like, it's just a tough one.
I can imagine, but I can also tell you, having listened to it, that it's universal.
It's just not something that we deal with until we have to, until we see it, until we experience it, until someone close to us is going through something like that. And so writing about it was really emotional, and I'm just gonna stop talking about it now.
Understandable.
Taylor Swift opens up to
I don't think I've reacted to Soon You'll Get Better. Maybe I have. At this point, I'm not sure. We've done a lot. I lost my gran to cancer. And it's funny, my gran never really man. I had an interesting past. I've said this before. One day I'll do a Q&A. Who knows? Maybe one day a random YouTuber will want to interview me, and you can just ask me a million questions. But anyway, my gran never really liked me. And growing up, she never really liked me. She was a strong-headed Scottish lady, and she thought I was quite lazy and never really liked me. And the problem I had was my mother didn't really relay a positive message of me to my gran. And you know how, like, you probably have this, I imagine some of you do, where people in your life, like your lives closest to you, will, like, obviously they dictate how other people perceive you. And sometimes they don't want those people to look at you in a light way. So they pass on quite negative information. And then when you finally talk to these people, you realize all the negative things that have been said. And you're like, wow, I can't believe that's how this person has portrayed me. That was kind of the situation. So when I was young, I wanted to publish a book when I was in college. And I thought it'd be really fun. And I had this really cool idea for a book. And I started writing this book. And I was spending a lot of time writing this book. And my dad would just just get angry with me all the time for writing this book, for having this passion, and would just moan at me all the time for writing it. And like really like aggressively hated the idea of me writing this book. And then I finished the book and I found a self-publishing agency and they published the book and it was on stores and I had a copy of it. And looking back at that book, it was awful. The story's cool, but it was so badly written. Like, it was very rushed. I actually did write another book, Unnatural Series One. This isn't promotion, but I wrote that one a few years ago. And that one I am crazy proud of. I'm very proud of it. You can find that on Amazon. Luke Fitzpatrick's Unnatural Series One. But yeah, the first one was called Valor. And I wrote and published it. And I'm not really proud of it. But the story I'm trying to say here is that when I published this book, two things happened. First, my dad immediately changed his tune and wanted to take credit. You know, I wrote it in his house, so he helped, and he wanted to take credit. And I remember I sat down and I said to him, I was like, if it was for you, this book would never even exist. You have no credit, no right taking anything. And he got really angry and flipped out. And that was my fun relationship with my dad, which I've always been open about. But my gran at that time came and spoke to me and said that she was so proud and had no idea that I wanted to write a book or had any interest in writing a book and had no idea about any of this. And from that moment on, I stopped talking to my mum and my gran, like in that order. And instead I went round my mum and spoke directly to my gran. You know, I was at an age where I didn't need my parents anymore to speak to my grandparents, which is why I'm actually weirdly closer to them, you know? Like, I'm very close to my nan. She's an amazing woman. I literally saw her a couple of days ago, but she's just fantastic, and she loves my sons, and that's all that matters to me. And I got very close to my gran, and I used to go up with my wife, or she was my girlfriend at the time, and see my gran, and my gran was this amazing religious Scottish lady, and I'm not religious, but I've always loved the idea of it. I've always wanted it to be. I just never have believed enough, and I used to love listening to my gran and just hear her talk about it. And then she got diagnosed, and she started getting weaker. And I remember one time I cuddled her, and it hurt her, and I felt awful about it. And then it got worse. And then she went to a hospice. And I remember I was going to university. Actually, no. No, I had to call in sick to go see my gran at my job at the time. And I was at university at the time as well. And I remember calling in sick and telling my boss at the time, my gran is not doing well. I'm going to go see her. And I'm sorry about this long tangent, by the way. And my boss at the time didn't say anything nice and just said, you can take 3 days off. And that was it. Hung up. So I went and saw my gran. I went up there on my own. Traveled up there on my own. It was like 2 hours. Went and saw her. Walked in and saw her. And every movement like hurt. And it was so strange because this woman is so strong. this strong Scottish lady, and she's just so strong. And seeing her so weak, and every time, like when she needs to go to the toilet, and just like in so much pain, bless her. Yeah, and that was the last time I saw my gran. It's funny, my whole family is pretty manipulative, so even around her funeral there was a lot of like manipulation, but I don't want to go into that. And it's very sad, isn't it, how family can be sometimes. But the reason I wanted to tell that story is because, just like the interviewer said, it is universal. We all sadly have a story about cancer. And how messed up is that? So I just wanted to share mine. And I apologize for going on such a long tangent. But the people we lose deserve to be remembered. So if you have anyone you would like to share a story about, I'd happily read it in those comments, you know?
Emotional, and I'm just gonna stop talking about it now.
Understandable.
Taylor Swift opens up to Elle magazine admitting that she's never fallen in love before. In the new issue of Elle magazine, Taylor is admitting that she has never ever fallen in love before. She said, "It's magical if you ask anyone who's ever fallen in love. It's the greatest." Now, I have more of a grasp on the fact that when you're in a state of infatuation and you think everything that a person does is perfect, it then, if you're lucky, morphs into a real relationship when you see that that person is not in fact perfect, but you still want to see them every day. I've never had that. She also says in the mag that she believes that the idea of happily ever after doesn't exist in real life, and that she doesn't see herself, quote, riding off into the sunset because the cameras keep rolling in real life.
What's this? I'd never been in a relationship when I wrote my first couple of albums, so these were all projections of what I thought they might be like. They were based on movies and books and songs and literature that tell us that a relationship is the most magical thing that can ever happen to you. And then once I fell in love, or I thought I was in love, and then experienced disappointment, or it just was not working out a few times, I realized there's this idea of happily ever after, which in real life doesn't happen. For me, I've always felt like, I always say this, is like just my quote, true love is easy. You know when you found someone, you know when you're supposed to be with someone, when it is easy. And it is that simple. Nothing else. That is the simplest part. It's easy. You don't have to work at the relationship. The relationship just works. That's true love. When I met my wife, it was like that. Every time I wasn't with her, I missed her. Whenever I was with her, it was easy. Whenever we wanted to do something, like my wife and I were so different when we first met, but we were like interested in the likes of each other. What she wants to do, I'm like, oh, I don't like that, but I'll give it a go, you know? And it's like what she wanted to eat. That's not my kind of food, but I'll try it. And it was the same for me. And it's easy and it's fun. That's it. Easy. I always think that is the word that like people need to realize, because you can be in a relationship sometimes, and when it ends, you look back at it and you go, "Fuck me, what a nightmare." When a true love relationship ends, it will never end. It won't end. You've got that person. It's easy. I like to believe Taylor's got that now with Travis. Obviously, I'm not going to speculate about anyone's relationship. I don't know.
There are times when I feel like with everything that's in my control, I can make myself
itchy as well.
seem like someone who doesn't have an abnormal life. And I try that every day. Every day it's like, how do I make myself among my friends and family and my loved ones
I love the
not
Long Pond
see
studio
this
sessions.
big
They're just amazing.
elephant that's in the room for our normal life, because I don't want the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to be in my life, I feel like there's a certain amount that comes with it that I can't stop from happening.
Yeah.
I can't stop from you getting a call in the morning that says, you know, the tabloids are writing this today. I can't help it if there's a guy with a long lens camera 2 miles away with a telescope lens taking pictures of you. I can't stop those things from happening. And so this song was basically like, is it enough? Is the stuff that I can control enough?
she might be one of the most emotionally stable and strong people I've ever seen, by the way. Because Taylor talks about like a lot of the negativity that comes with her fame, but handles it so well. But is so open about those emotions as well. She really is just like incredible.
To sort of block out the things that I can't.
However, she's been wired
it makes
up
me
here
really
is remarkable.
really emotional to hear this song.
She is
Can
amazing.
you do anything? You use the word normal, so I'll use it. Can you do anything like a normal person? Can you go out for a coffee? Can you go shopping? Or is everything an event with tons of paparazzi?
Love that
following
Canadian
you?
accent. You can tell straight
Anything
away.
outside my house or my apartment doesn't ever really feel normal. I try so hard to make it normal because I don't engage, like if I'm being followed by a camera crew and all these paparazzi, they know that I don't want to have the conversation. And in New York, they're very respectful of that. Like they just take their pictures and they say thank you and they leave. I don't want to make it into a press conference. My friends wouldn't want that either. But in my apartment, in my house, we can bake, we can make dinner, we can dance, we can do whatever we want. It's just that it's just a fact that when I'm outside the doors of my apartment, people are watching me, and that's the life that I chose.
And this is what always pisses me off when people talk about celebrities and say like, oh, you know, you're famous now, this comes with the fame, and it's just like, that's just normal. That's a normal statement to make. How absolutely ridiculous is that statement? No human should ever be expected to forcefully have a life they don't want to live pushed upon them. Are you serious? Just because they follow a passion like music or acting. Are you actually serious? It always drives me crazy when people say that. It's like, how insensitive can you be to someone else's feelings where you feel like that if a celebrity is upset about like the intention, that you're like, oh, you're famous, you know what you were getting into. No one like clicks a button and becomes famous, you know? Like they never choose it. They follow these career paths and it happens. Literally, right now, all of us could just go out to the shops, not have any issues. Go to the shops, go out, have a coffee, go eat dinner. Not have any issues. Imagine if you could never do that again. Ever. It's crazy.
You're okay with it?
I have days where I am, days where I'm not. You know, like, I don't think anyone has a solid stance on any way that they feel. Like, it's like saying, are you happy every day? You know, I mean, sometimes it feels absolutely stifling and overwhelming, to be honest with you.
Finds difficult buying underwear because of her fame. Taylor Swift will discuss the pros and cons of being a famous singer. At just 20, the Today Was a Fairy Tale star is one of the biggest names in music and reportedly... Okay. God, but such success comes at a price. Taylor revealed her biggest hate of being a household name, saying, there are places I can't shop at anymore. When I go to buy pajamas or underwear, people are always being nosy and trying to look for what I'm buying. It's embarrassing. How do you even... How does it work, you know? How does it work? Being famous, how does it work? Though on the subject of underpants, a girl's got to wear them, and every so often a girl's got to buy them. And Swift wouldn't mind being able to purchase her skivvies in peace. One day not long ago, she went to shopping at Victoria's Secret. I look up and there's like 15 people looking at me with camera phones out, waiting to take a picture with what kind of underwear I'm going to buy. I think it's just... I mean, she's a small, extra small. I want it to be like, guys, I can hear you. The one thought that came into my head then was like, imagine being Taylor's parents and reading that story. Stuff like this really gets my back up.
This week was the American election, and we have 2 Americans here.
Yeah.
And you've been very secretive about how you vote, what you're voting for.
Well, I mean, I just figure I'm a 22-year-old singer, and, you know, I don't know if people really want to hear my political views. I think they just kind of want to hear me sing songs about breakups and feelings.
can you just kind of sum up this whole year?
Yeah, no, I have no idea how this happens. This is like, I mean, and I know that this is probably never going to happen to me again like this. Like this kind of a year is so rare and so unique. Every album I put out has had its own different kind of feeling for the way that the year has gone. And this is such a unique feeling with Red. Like,
there's like a buzz in the background. So it's like someone's getting a tattoo behind the camera.
The fact that the fans got me to win Artist of the Year for the third time is kind of, to me, hard to even wrap my mind around. Like, I just sometimes I'm so happy I'm scared, if that makes any sense. Like,
well, with what you just said, it does make sense, because you don't think you're ever going to be able to achieve something like this again. And why?
Because I do that every time I win an award. Like, I just feel like this has got to be it. People are going to get sick of me, clearly. I'm always sick of me.
Subscribe.
Is that? I can't tell if that's Harry Styles there at the end. A few people have asked me. I get a lot of requests to react to like Harry Styles and other artists and a lot of singers along like, because I don't react to a lot of modern music. And that's not out of choice. It's just I just pretty much do what's requested on this channel, and everything I react to is what's requested. So I'm happy checking out more. And sometimes it doesn't like land, and people don't really want more. Like, I tried doing a bunch of Billie Eilish reactions, but they were never like that popular. People didn't really request more. So, you know, I actually ended up just listening to, because I reacted to a few of her songs on her latest album, and I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't that like popular on my channel, so I just listened to the album behind the scenes. And so when it comes back to doing, like, if people want more Billie Eilish reactions in the future, I'll just be honest. I'll say, oh, I listened to a new album. That's what I usually do. If I react to an artist or a band, group, or anything on YouTube, and I really enjoy them, but YouTube doesn't really want more of them, I'll just listen to them myself. But yeah, I'm happy checking out anybody, any recommendations that you guys give me. It's really sad, isn't it? I wonder if she still feels like that now, because this is quite old, and a lot of the interviews are quite old, and you know, one thing I noticed, and I'm a baby Swiftie still, even though it's been over, how long has it been? It's coming up to a year, right? I still feel like a baby Swiftie. And one thing, like I noticed, and I don't know if I'm crazy, is just, she just seems really happy now. And I'm not at all saying Travis is the reason, at all. Maybe, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying she just seems happy. And whatever those reasons are in her life, I'm glad she has that. Because I've checked out a lot of interviews and a lot of things from her past. And although she seems happy as well, she never seemed like this. This is now, it really, like, when I like watch her now and I see things her now and I see her out, she just seems like so happy. Like, genuinely having a great time wherever she goes and just smiling and dancing. And I watched the freaking the amazing freaking Swifties at the Hits Differently podcast, who I'm like, I just love them so much. They put out a video of Taylor a freaking like the US Open singing with Travis, and it's the greatest thing ever. I don't know about Travis's mustache. He looks like Hopper from Stranger Things. You know, actually, now I say that out loud, I kind of love it. Oh, it's funny. But yeah, it was just the best thing ever. Her freaking outfit at the music awards recently as well was just, oh, she looked amazing. She looked freaking amazing. I put a tweet out about it. I had to put a tweet out about that outfit. If you don't follow me on Twitter, to be honest, my Twitter and my Instagram is slowly just becoming like Swiftie exclusive at the moment. Especially my Instagram. It's so funny. I love it. You can find the links to those things in the descriptions. That's just where, like, just all Swifties these days. But yeah, yeah, she looked amazing, and she just was awesome, and I just love hearing her talk now, because she just sounds so happy. You know, anyone else feeling like that, or do I sound crazy? And I think after, like, reacting to something called The Saddest Interview Moments, it's kind of nice to highlight that, you know? Anyway, I'm going to end the reaction there. Luckily, not that sad. It is, but it isn't what I thought it was going to be. The Saddest Interview Moments, I expected Taylor in, like, crying and stuff like that, and me crying, and a nuzzle being broken. And although they were really sad, they're more just kind of... It's weird saying this, but... I was going to say angry, but that's not right. It's just like, it's like, it is a little bit angry because I like the way people talk to her and the way people treat her and the things she has to go through and the way she has to live a normal life and the disrespect for some interviewers and the questions they ask. Like, I feel like it's so easy for people to forget that who they're talking to is a human and they just talk to them. Like, you either get people who don't think before they say things, or you get people who just want gossip and don't care if you don't want to talk about it. And I do find it interesting. And I also feel like Taylor gets a lot of the same questions repeated, bless her, and at some point she just must be just sad answering them. So yeah, it wasn't the compilation I thought it was gonna be, which I'm glad because I thought I'd be here crying the entire time. But I'm really glad we watched it. Jeez, I've been recording my audio for nearly 40 minutes. This has been a long reaction. The video is only 13 minutes long. I didn't think it'd be this long. I apologize for all my rambling in this video. I really do. I must have talked for ages. Anyway, I'll end it there. Thank you so much for watching. Please put all your recommendations in that comment section down below. And let me know what you'd like me to react to next week. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. As always, I just love her so much. I think she is just an incredibly powerful, strong, wonderful freaking person. And just such a damn inspirational role model for everyone. I love her. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have an amazing week. And as always, my friends, you will see me in the next video.